different than the parallelograms or the whole parallelogram family. If we talk about parallelograms, the family, you get the rectangle, the rhombus, and then you get the square. And then essentially you have a cousin out here called a kite, because it has some characteristics of the parallelograms, but it doesn't have some of the major ones. Like, for example, opposite sides are not parallel at all. And that's one of the big things that you're going to run into. Now, there's an easy way to draw a kite, and it's in a coordinate plane. I would say that the major characteristic of the kite is that diagonals bisect each other, or they don't bisect each other. They are perpendicular. And one diagonal is bisected. Now, if I take this and I draw it 4 like this, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like this, where this diagonal is bisected, this one isn't, because that's 2 and that's 4. If I were to go ahead and draw the outer shape for these diagonals, you end up with your kite. Now, some of the facts that we need to know about the kite are as follows. Say that's A, B, C, D. These two sides are congruent. These two sides are congruent. So it has what we call two pairs of consecutive sides are congruent. Mr. Fordori? Hi. Yeah, we're doing Parents' Night tonight. Okay. Okay, not a problem. Hey, I understand family's more important. Oh, I bet. Okay, and I hope everything goes well with your mom. Oh, I still have to have the second part of the root canal over the break. Yeah, it's been a blast. Oh, not a problem. Bye. It's going to be an interesting video, me having that conversation in the middle of it. Alright, so, it is what it is. I'll make a better one later. So unlike the kite is kind of close to a rhombus. If you want to think about a different shape, the only thing different is the sides are not all congruent to each other. You only have two pairs of sides that are congruent to each other. But also, the angles that are between the two sides that are different, like this angle B, and I hate to say angle B because there's more going out there, that angle is congruent to this angle. So I could say angle ABC is congruent to angle ADC. But these two angles up here, BAD and BCD, they're not congruent at all. So, and then you get these you get four right triangles inside of it. These two triangles are congruent to each other. These two triangles are congruent to each other, which makes that kind of nice and easy for us as well. So when we're dealing with kites, kites are nothing special outside of the fact that, all right, you have those two. When you look at a kite, you kind of go with the obvious. I always tell you, don't believe the picture, but when you know it's a kite, believe the picture. These two small sides are congruent. The two longer sides are congruent. The diagonals, one of them's going to get cut in half, the other one isn't, and you are going to be able to tell which one, because one is going to be longer than the other one, and one's going to have a short side and a long side, so the other one is congruent. The two angles that are between the two sides are congruent. And then we could actually go through and say, like, this angle's congruent to this angle, that angle's congruent to this angle, that angle's congruent to that angle, this angle's congruent to that angle. We'll deal a little bit more with that later. But I wanted to show you that for kites. And that's where we're going to pick up tomorrow. We're going to talk about kites, and we're going to talk about trapezoids.